There is something happening inside your body, right now, as you listen to this. And nobody told you. Here's what's strange. The sun should not work, not by any rule of physics we understand. The warmth you feel on your skin? It should be impossible. And there's more. The reason you exist might have nothing to do with logic. The reason anything exists at all might come down to a rule that says, rules can be broken. Stay with me, because by the end of this, you won't just understand something new about the universe. You'll understand something new about yourself. Let me take you back to school for a second. Not the boring kind, the kind where something clicks. You learned about walls, right? A wall stops you. Simple. You hit a wall, you stop. You don't pass through it. You've known this your entire life. Your body knows it. Your bones know it. But here's the thing. Your bones? They're mostly empty space. The atoms inside them, they're almost entirely nothing. A nucleus so small, if an atom were the size of a football stadium, the nucleus would be a grain of rice in the center. So why don't you fall through the floor? Why don't your hands pass through this phone? Because of energy. Because of rules. Rules that say, particles stay where they belong. Rules that say, you need enough push to cross a barrier. Classical physics is very confident about this, very sure of itself. Give me the position of the particle, give me its energy, and I'll tell you exactly where it's going. There is something almost comforting about that. Predictable, safe, everything in its place. But then, quantum mechanics showed up, and it said, actually, sometimes the rules just don't apply. Here's what I mean. Imagine you're rolling a ball toward a hill. The ball doesn't have enough energy to reach the top, so what happens? It rolls back. Always. Every single time. That's physics. That's classical physics. But in the quantum world, the world of electrons, protons, the smallest things, something different happens. You roll the particle toward the barrier. It doesn't have enough energy. It should roll back. And then it just appears on the other side. No drama, no explanation. It didn't climb over. It didn't break through. It was here. And then it was there. We call this quantum tunneling. And I need you to sit with how strange that is. Not just intellectually strange, emotionally strange. Because we are taught from the time we're children that effort determines outcome. You want to get over the wall? You climb. You work. You earn it. But reality, at its most fundamental level, does not operate that way. At the base of existence, there is a kind of grace, a loophole, a place where the impossible simply happens, quietly, without asking permission. Now here's where it gets personal, because I said at the start, this is happening in your body, and I meant it. When your DNA copies itself, when your cells divide, when life continues, there are protons, tiny, tiny protons. And those protons tunnel. They jump barriers they have no business jumping. Every single second, inside your living body, particles are doing the impossible. You have been walking around your whole life thinking the world plays by the rules, but your own existence is built on a phenomenon that breaks them. Let that land. And there's more. The sun, the warmth, the light, the reason any life began on this planet. Nuclear fusion inside the sun requires protons to get close enough to fuse. But the temperature inside the sun, as impossibly hot as it is not actually hot enough. The protons don't have enough energy. By classical physics, the sun should be cold, dead. But they tunnel, millions of times, every second. The sun burns because the rules break. Life exists because the rules break. You exist because the rules break. Now, I want to ask you something, and I want you to actually think about it. How many times have you looked at a barrier in your life and said, I don't have enough. I don't have the energy. I don't have the money. I don't have the talent. The wall is too high. And you rolled back. We are conditioned to think this way. Energy in, energy out. Effort equals result. You get what you earn. But the universe, your universe, the one your body runs on, was not built on that logic alone. There is something in the fabric of reality that allows for the improbable. Something that says, the probability is low, but it is never zero. In quantum mechanics, they phrase it carefully. They say, there is a non-zero probability that the particle will appear on the other side. Non-zero. That means it cannot be ruled out. Think about what you have ruled out because the numbers didn't add up. Think about the barriers you looked at and accepted as permanent. The universe is 13.8 billion years old. It has been doing the impossible, quietly, constantly, without announcement, since before the Earth existed. Let me go a step further, because scientists didn't just discover tunneling, they used it. There's a machine called a scanning tunneling microscope. It works by placing a needle so close to a surface that electrons tunnel across the gap. Not touching, tunneling. And with that tunneling current, we can see individual atoms. We can move individual atoms. In 1989, scientists at IBM arranged 35 xenon atoms to spell out the letters IBM, the smallest writing in human history, done with a tool that only works because particles refuse to respect barriers. And now, quantum computing. The most powerful computers being built today are built around a concept called a qubit. A qubit can be a 0. A qubit can be a 1. A qubit can be both at the same time. That both at the same time part? That is the tunneling principle at work. The quantum world doesn't force a choice until you look, until you measure, which is its own kind of philosophy, honestly. The act of observing changes what's there. We live our lives assuming the world is solid, assuming walls are walls, assuming barriers are final. But underneath all of it, underneath the floor you're standing on, the chair you're sitting in, the air in your lungs, the universe is made of probabilities. Particles that might be here, particles that might be there. And sometimes, in defiance of everything logical, they choose the other side. The sun is warm today because of that choice. You are alive today because of that choice. And somewhere in that, if you let yourself feel it, there is something that looks a lot like hope. The universe itself is proof that sometimes the thing that shouldn't happen does. Quietly, without warning, and without needing your permission.